Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Ebony Empress, and welcome to Rise and Shine with Ebony and Zina Arinze. And Zina has joined me this morning. We had a few stresses getting in, but we are here, thank God. We are here, and we're ready to share some great energy and positivity with you to get your day started off with a blast. A blast. I'm so excited to have Zina with me. She's a very good friend of mine, and she's also a wonderful coach to many women out there. She's also a lawyer and so much more. A mother, she'll tell you, and so much more. Good morning, Zina. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Empress. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. No
I'm
problem.
really, really excited at this rise and shine early in the morning. Hope I don't sound sleepy to all you guys out there.
Well, I have to say we got your picture up because Zina's on her phone this morning. She's multitasking with her family, and so we put the picture up because, yeah, okay, we're not going to go into what happened. We tried to go live with pictures, but yeah, we're happy to see your lovely, beautiful, smiling face for
Oh,
my.
thank you very much, Ebony. Thank you very much. Oh,
Looking
my days. Thank you.
Okay, so tell us about Believe and Live Again and all the wonderful work that you're doing with women out there.
Right, believeandliveagain.com is a post-divorce lifestyle service for women. Basically, when you've come out from a traumatic relationship, it could be marriage, it could be, a common law relationship, it could just, you could be separated. You find out that women normally lose themselves. They lose their self-esteem. They don't know what to do next. Many women have found themselves sort of subsumed in a relationship or in a marriage, which is the right thing. You're supposed to live for your family and you do stuff, but suddenly that unit, that family unit that you have and and you're familiar with, it stops and you don't know what to do. Where do you go next? So I help you transition from we to a me situation. So I help you move on in your business, help you to find out what you're passionate about so that you can begin to start transitioning into a new version of you. Now, for some people, it might be a business idea or a passion that they've had years ago, prior to being married or prior to being in a relationship or prior to being a mom. And they've sort of left it on the wayside so that they can actually do the ministry that they've been called to do, which is being a mom, being a wife, or being a partner. And, I help you to relive that, rekindle it, rejuvenate, and, start helping you. We work together to find out what you're really passionate about, what your skill sets are, what are things that you can do, without thinking twice. What do your friends and family say about you? So I ask questions like, what if someone were to talk about you when you weren't there behind your back? What would be the three top positive things? I've always talked about positive because you ask me, what are the three top positive things that people would say about you, your friends and family? And based on that, we can begin to chart a new journey for them. I find
Oh,
it extremely cathartic because it's my story, and I just need to help as many women out there to sort of believe and live again.
yeah. And I think being able to empower people is such a great gift. And you have that. I've done some work with you myself, and I know, how it can just really change people's lives. So you help them to answer some serious questions about who they are, but how does it all work? What are the small steps that you take to making the bigger steps later, which may achieve success for you as a woman?
One of the things I do is I do a 6 week program with some women, depending on what you need. And I start by asking you in week one, sort of to make a list, like I mentioned earlier on, about what people say about you and categorize them into positive and negative. I try to capitalize on the positive, but it's good to sort of get over the negative as well because it needs to be a learning experience as well. If there are things or gremlins that have been, plaguing your life, that needs to, you need to get rid of that. Week two, we sort of pay a special focus on people's body language towards you because that's something that people aren't normally aware of. So, you're completely oblivious to how people react around you. So I ask women to watch out for people's, behavior and contrast it with people's manner towards you because it's not always what people say about you, it's the way they react around you, all those subliminal messages. Then in week 3, you know, I ask you, what are you saying about yourself? It was all well and good coming out of a relationship. It could be abusive. It might not have been abusive. But what are you saying about yourself? You'd be surprised that many women, we go through what we call self-abuse. So we abuse ourselves with, you know, negative words. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to amount to anything. My ex-husband or my ex-boss said I was useless, or my teacher said I was useless. I'm obviously useless. Oh, great, this always happens to me. So those kind of things, you know, what are the negative things that you say about yourselves, and I help you to get through that. And then week 4, I look at how you treat other people. Because
Right.
sometimes some of the things we go through is based on, you know, how we project and how we treat other people. Sometimes what happens to you is what you're actually projecting. So I help, you know, we work through that. And then week 5, you know, again, we go back to that lesson where we talk about listening to what you tell yourself, or how, you know, what do you speak to yourself. If you want to be a businesswoman, for instance, you want to set up a new business, if you're not telling yourself the right things, so if you're not saying, I can make it in spite of the obstacles, you won't make it. So it's the way that you think about yourself. What are you saying to yourself? There's a scripture, and people use it a lot in the coaching world as well. As a man thinketh, so is she. So as a woman thinketh, so is she. So I, you know, try to get you to sort of explore how you think about yourself, because if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or a businesswoman, or you want to have that new top flying job, it all depends on how you think about yourself, how you portray yourself. You will attract what you give out. And then week 6, we review all the information that we've gathered, and we sort of come out with an action plan on how to move you forward. And we do this long before we start talking about business ideas, because we need to work on you first before we can be a successful businesswoman or entrepreneur or that high-flying job.
Wow. Wow. Lots there. Lots there. I think we need to sign up for that coaching today. We need to sign up. So let me ask this question. There's a lot of people who want to do stuff, you know, really passionate, committed to making a change, creating something, manifesting something out there in the world. What are some of the things that can really get in the way, particularly if you're a woman, of this, you know, the dream or whatever it is that you're trying to create? What are some of the things that get in the way for us?
Oh, there are loads of things. That's a really, really good question, Ebony. I think one of the things would be our thought patterns. You know, I mentioned it earlier on, how we think about ourselves, how we think about the obstacles ahead of us, how we compare ourselves to other people. You've got to realize, all of us, and me inclusive, that you're on this journey alone. If you start comparing yourself with other people, you know, you're going, oh God, look at that woman, she's ahead of me, or look at that woman, I'm better than her. You know, your focus is all wrong. So that's one thing, focusing on what you don't have. Attitude of gratitude, grateful for the journey, be grateful for where you are, baby steps, because the more gratitude you show, the more you're able to push yourself forward. Another thing that can affect your live stream would be in terms of who your role models are. Who are you hanging out with? You know, are you hanging out with people that, you know, make you feel good? Are you hanging out with what I call yes women, that will always, you know, enable you and say, oh yeah, Zina, you're the greatest, whereas you're not? Or are you hanging out with people that are really stretching you? You know, really, really, really stretching you to, you know, to go much further than you can ever be. You know, we all know about Warren Buffett. He's successful in investing in people and in long-term businesses. He wasn't comparing himself with anyone else. He was just moving forward. Bill Gates, the same thing. You know, who are you role modeling yourself after? Who are you looking at? Who do you want to be like? You know, you need to look at the qualities that they have and the qualities that you want to emulate into yourself. So maybe there might be situations where you do have qualities that you didn't even realize. So say, for instance, you can talk about Oprah. What does Oprah do, you know, that you can do? And people might think Oprah's all the way up there, or Zig Ziglar, or, you know, whoever, or Ivanla, but they're just people just like us. So it's really useful to look at people you want to model and start modeling yourself after that person or those people. So it's all about reinvention. It's a journey. Another thing that as a potential gremlin is your family. You know, I love my family to bits. Like you mentioned in the introduction, I'm a you know, oh God, I'm 100% family woman. I'm a mother. I mean, before I got on this call, I've done breakfast already. I've got school uniform ready. Things are in the car. I've done sandwiches. We've got some foreign exchange students. I've done their sandwiches. Where everything's all ready. So once I finish this call, it's like dash, 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 you know. And so, yes, I am. I believe 100% in being a family woman. You know, your family does come first. Everything that you do, your business, your career, you know, your life passions, your dreams, it's all about the family. It's all about leaving a legacy for the people that come after you. But even then, you've got to know how to put boundaries in place. It's really important. If you're not boundaried, you will always have this, you know, a typical gremlin or a typical thing that can stop you from moving forward in your business or your life passion. Another thing would be in terms of investments. What investments are you prepared to make? Not just in yourself, but in, you know, other businesses that look like you, like other businesses that do the kind of things that you want to do. It's really important. If you want to succeed in this life, you really need to be 100%, how will I put it, focused on, you know, doing a lot of self investments. So invest in coaching programs, educational programs, or just, you know, if you know, money or finances is an issue for you, go onto YouTube. There's a lot of information online that can help you be a much better version of yourself. So don't say, oh, I don't have, or I can't. I should actually mention that as number one. I can't. I can't is one of the biggest. You know, I try not to have that in my dictionary. I can. You know, Obama said it years ago. Yes, we can, and he did. So, you know, it's all about your beliefs. You know, your belief system. I think it's important also about flexibility. You need to be flexible. So if you, you know, you've put some goals in place, you've put some systems in place to get where you need to get from A to B, and it doesn't quite work. You've got to be flexible enough to change route or reroute yourself, or if they say in America, reroute yourself to where you need to be. Don't sort of be stuck. Well, this is what I said I'm going to be. I'm going to be this, and I'm not. You know, you've got to be able to be flexible and move with the times. You know, some people say that being flexible is not the right thing, but you've got to realize that those people that those extraordinary people, they are flexible. They try something, if it's not working, they're ready to sort of say, it's not working, let's look for another way of doing that. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be, you know, focused on your goals, but there are so many ways to skin a rat, or skin a cat, as they say. I don't know where I got a rat from. Oh, Lord. Another thing that can keep you back is in terms of, you know, being how will I say, a miserly person, or not being generous. Yeah. And I'm not talking just in terms of finances, but in terms of your time. If you, like I said earlier on, you only get what you give out. So you need to be a giver in your finances if you can, but a giver in your time. If you're able to do something that someone else can't do, if you've got the knowledge, or you've got the skill, or you've got the time, you know, you might think that you're worse off, but you'd be surprised if you've got an attitude of gratitude. You will find that there are so many women out there that just need a word from you, or just need a push from you, or just need a smile from you, and that will push them forward, you know, throughout their days. If you look at people like Richard Branson, for instance, he's a giver. He's a giver. People say, well, you only give when you're really, really rich. No, if you give now, when you hit the big time, you'll also be a giver. But if you're someone that's tight-fisted, you're never going to give. You're going to think, oh God, I can't share with anyone else. They're going to take my success. It's like, you know, in the coaching arena, you know, some people say, oh no, I can't share my clients because someone's going to do, or I can't do what that person's doing. There's more than enough people out there to coach.
Well, I want to share this. I mean, in setting up this show, I had a conversation with a coach who actually said to me, oh, well, you know, I'd share the time with you, Ebony, but, you know, I'm really careful about who I share my brand with and how much I support someone else's brand. And I was like, really? You know, because in supporting someone else, you're supporting yourself. We're all working to achieve success, but we can all support each other on that road. And, you know, there is no greater brand than any other brand. You are what you are putting out. But, you know, to have that limited thought that, oh, you know what, I don't want to make you greater than I am. Almost that's what you're saying. I'm like, really? Because I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing that with me doing something with you, I'm helping myself. And that's, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm seeing it, that we all helping each other to get to where we need to go. So where is that conversation about who is better than who? And you see that a lot in the coaching world, where people don't want to share information. You know, if they come up with something, like, for example, I'm doing Google Hangout now. I've shared it with so many people because I think a lot of people don't know about this platform, or they have heard of it, but they don't know how to access it. And I'm like,
That's right.
opportunity to show people how to get on here and do some stuff. Okay, you know, more people will be on the platform. That's great for Google. That's also just great for people who want to get their information out to the world. So I'm not limited in sharing it. I'm like, anybody can have access. Anybody who wants to learn from me how you get on here and you do what you do, I'm open to sharing it with you at no cost, because when you give, you get something back. You absolutely do get stuff back.
Absolutely.
But I have sometimes a limited thought about how, you know, about giving. You know, what is that? You know, that I am afraid to give because, you know, somehow, you know, someone else is going to benefit more than me. Come on, get over it. We're all sharing. We're all in the same world. We're all going to get to wherever we got to go. But if you've got the limited thoughts, you are not going to make it. You really are.
That is so, so true. I mean, the question I always ask is, I look at you and I'm thinking, well, the people I model myself after, people like Oprah, you know, Anthony Robbins and Dr. Mayer, that's just gone to be with the Lord. You know, people that, you know, were so selfless, or people that are selfless and go way beyond themselves to really give themselves. And that's what that's what it's about. You
Yeah.
know, you want to, or, you know, you've got, oh God, Dr. You know, Nelson Mandela, people that were able to sort of go, you know, cross, you know, cultural, you know, beliefs and barriers, and just give. You know, I like what I think he's, you know, Zig Ziglar. He says something about, you will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want, and it's so true. You know,
Yes.
if you go out there and you try your best to help as many people as possible get where they need to be, before you know it, you know, you're going to be where you want to be. And like I said, it's not just about money. You know, your time, space. There's so many ways you can open doors for other people. And you're right, Ebony. You know, we've been working together for quite some time, and it's never been, you know, an issue. We just share. You know, we just share. You know, I remember, you know, when I started my blog talk radio station, it was Ebony. I'm like, oh, what do I do? How do I do it? I've been trying to do this for years, but I haven't got round to it. And she gave me the kick that I needed. It's like, Zina, you've been doing this for years. You should. I know. So it's all about sharing. It's about
Yeah.
sharing, being a giver. Don't believe that, you know, that hype. Oh God, that hype. That, no, I better not give. I don't want to share. You know, they're going to take my business away. If you're any good at what you do, you'll always get business. You'll always get people that believe in what you know you have to offer. Another thing is being someone that likes knowledge. You've got to be a reader. You know, I don't care what race you are. I know there's this thing that some people say that people of color don't like reading, and that, well, I don't know about that, but for me, you know, you know, I just
You're
try to
learning.
read as much as
Gotta
that.
learn.
You got to learn. If you're not learning, you might as well be dead. You know, you've got to keep growing. So you've got to be a reader. Most successful people, if not all, like to read. You've got to like to read. You've got to like to know about what other people are doing in your area or in your arena. You've got to be confident that the more you read, the more you'll be able to expand your awareness, and the more you're going to be able to challenge yourself to get to where you want to be. Whatever those limiting beliefs, you mentioned it earlier on, Ebony, you have about yourself, the more you read, the more you know, you realize that you can drop those beliefs. And funnily enough, most of the people that we call role models have the same issues just like us.
Oh
When I
yeah.
say us, you know, I mean, I don't know. My number one coaching manual has to be the Bible, and you know, there's this. Oh God, there's something that says something about. Oh God, what's it? You know, not the way you think about yourself, but yes, Elijah was a man of light passions. Now, for those people that know anything about the Bible, you know, there was this story about Elijah, and he had said there'll be no rain, and he stopped the rain, and although, you know, did all these great, wonderful things, and all of a sudden, this woman Jezebel says she's going to kill him. And this Elijah just run, he did all these fantastic miracles with the help of God. He stopped the rain. They said, here, the abundance of rain and all that stuff for people that know the story. And then all of a sudden, this great man of God went to the cave and hid in the cave. And they go, oh my God, Jezebel's going to kill me. She's going to murder me. Oh, and he was, it was basically a duvet day. It's something that I do every now and again, maybe once, once a year or twice a year. I'm probably lying, probably 3 or 4 times a year. So, you sort of say, oh, I can't deal with this anymore. And you forget that you're here for a purpose. People are waiting to hear a word from you. People are remembering what you did for them last time. And you're there feeling sorry for yourself. So the Oprahs, the Obamas, the Zinas, the Ebonys, we all have those, those situations where we have these gremlins, these obstacles that keep telling us that we can't go forward. But, you just give yourself that kick, or you have the right people around you that will give you the kick, and then you get on and do what you do best and shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to stop you there and ask you a little bit about purpose, because you mentioned purpose. And how important is knowing your purpose? Because we hear purpose all the time in conversations. Coaches mention purpose all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you understand purpose? How do you understand that?
Well, for me, you've got to, when you're talking about purpose, you've got to remember that it's your purpose.
Right.
Yeah, it's not my purpose, it's not Sandra's purpose, it's not Joanna's purpose, it's your purpose, it's your race, it's your journey. That's the first thing you've got to, think about. Okay, what's so special about me? What's unique about me? What have I been brought on this earth to do, to deliver? It doesn't have to be something really on the, the world stage. It could be something in your, your little community. But what have I been brought here to do? And then also, you've got to be able to admit or have self-acceptance. So you've got to accept yourself for who you are. Like they say here in England, warts and all. So your mistakes, as well, your past mistakes, and even the future ones that you're going to make, you've got to be able to sort of accept who you are. You've got to take responsibility for the actions that you've taken, whether good or bad. And stop blaming others and making excuses, because these are all the things that sort of stay in the way or get in the way of you trying to realize what your purpose is. So once you're able to take responsibility for who you are, why you're here, mistakes or no, or warts or not, then you start looking forward. Okay, this is what makes me. I'm 5'11". No, that's just me being facetious. But you talk about what makes you, and then you say, okay, what difference can I make? What difference can I make in the world that I live in? And how can I make that difference? Or if you're a businesswoman or a businessman, you have people say, what gaps are there in the market? You can look at it that way. So what gaps are there in my local environment? Maybe you're a mom, maybe it could be even in your workplace. What is it that they're not doing that I can do and make it more efficient? What is it that I'm really passionate about? What is it that people say is unique about me? I mentioned that earlier on. What is unique about you? Because sometimes you don't know. Many people don't know, and so you do an exercise thinking, okay, what do people say about me? Okay, they might say that I'm really, really chatty, I'm really friendly, I'm able to break down barriers, or I'm really shy, whatever it is that people say about you, and you use that to start developing how you can move forward. I think it's all about your work. Don't let anyone derail you, because many times people will say, well, your purpose is this and your purpose is that, and you go on trying to live someone else's purpose, or as my grandmother would say, you go and take Panadol for someone else's headache, and I like
that one. Panadol for someone else's headache. That's a good one.
You've got to
it's a good one. It's a good one.
You've got to sort of think about surrounding yourself with people that you believe in and you like their beliefs and habits, but it's just for you to take bits of what they do that you realize that you can do, but you didn't realize you could do it until you saw that they were doing it. Yeah. So it's because sometimes, like I said, you've got hidden passions, you've got hidden skills. You might not know what you're passionate about. You might not even know what your purpose is. So you've got to start listening to other people, what people say about you. Like I said earlier on, look at people's body language when they're around you. It's not always what they say. How are they happy and engaging when they see you, or do they flinch? You know, when you come into their, you know, area, you know, watch people's body languages, listen, have self-control. So you've got to be focused. You've got to not, you know, be derailed by the next fad or the next shiny object. Oh, I need to get this. I need to get this. And so you find that you've got, you know, 1 million pairs of shoes. Not me, not me, not me. You know, Nelda Marcus.
Not me.
And they're all in your wardrobe, and you never wear any of them. And you've got this wedding, like, okay, oh, hi Sandra, how are you? Or hi Juliana, how are you? Oh, I just bought this lovely pair of shoes. Well, you can't walk in 8-inch heels, but you go and buy it. So basically, you know, you're trying to live someone else's purpose. You know, I know that's sort of being taken at a very granular, sort of funny level, but it's really, really important. You've got to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to give permission, you know, to other people to let you do what you do best. You know, because when you keep relying on other people, it slows you down. 9 times out of 10, when you reveal what you feel your purpose is, even if you're wrong, you'd be surprised that most people will tell you, are you sure? I feel that I've been brought to do this. Yeah, right. Because they're basically looking at what they know about you in terms of, you know, the negative things, maybe your past mistakes. You know, so you don't give anyone, you know, that sort of room to sort of determine who you want to be or what your purpose is. And don't give them, you know, you don't need to give anyone permission to sort of say, well, can I be this or can I do that? You know, because when you keep doing that, it slows yourself, it slows you down. You've got to be able to believe in yourself and in your own ability to achieve your dreams, whether people help you out or not. I mean, you know this, Ebony, as much as I do. We've been on this journey for quite a long time. And the more you wait for people to help you out, the more you find out no one's there. You've got to just be focused, you know. You know, sometimes your family members say, you're still doing this, sort of thing, but it doesn't matter. You know, you've got to keep going, you know, and you'd be surprised. The more you keep at it, the more people start saying, oh my days, it's this, you know, she's really living her life. She's really living, or he's really living his purpose. He's really, you know, managing to move, not, I don't like that word, manage. He or she's really thriving in what he or she has been called to be. You know, manage your energy.
And I think that's a trick that we miss, that we think often it's about people's approval or validation of what we're doing. Sometimes, you know, you're doing your thing, but it just is out there helping someone else to see that they can do their thing too, right? So I'm always aware of that when I'm doing my radio, that a lot of people are watching, maybe not even watching the shows, listening to the shows, but what they are listening to and watching is your ability to keep doing what you say you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
persistence.
Yeah. So sometimes I don't want to do a show, but I'm doing it because I know people expect me to be out there. And I'm like, oh, I need to keep the dream going. Those people are just watching the dream. And if that keeps you motivated, it keeps you motivated.
Absolutely. I think something else that I don't know why it just came to mind. We need to be people, you know, whoever you are around the world, you need to be people that, or a person that can, you know, handle praise. Because there are so many people that won't be praising you for what you're doing, and so you tend to sort of gravitate towards them or gravitate towards their beliefs in what you're doing. But you need to be comfortable with the successes that you've had and the successes that you will have in the future. You know, when you're uncomfortable when people are telling you you're doing so well, it talks a lot about your self-esteem. And once people notice that, they will keep, you know, trying to get you down, you know. So, you know, you don't need anyone to help you get, you know, if you've already got that you're dealing with yourself. So you've got, when someone says, oh, Ebony, well done on winning that fantastic award, you know, don't say, oh, yeah, right. You know, you like, own it. You've got to be able to own your successes, no matter how little they are, because people will be talking about where you failed. So, it's, you know, people say, oh, God, there are lots of people that talk on social media, and they're always talking about how fantastic they are, and it's a bit narcissistic. Trust me, if you can do that, and if it rocks your boat, you know, shout it out on the mountaintops, everything that you've done, that you know, the areas where you've really achieved success. It could be just being able to get out of bed and do a school run. Maybe you've been suffering from depression for years and you haven't been able to do that. You know, it could be, you know, passing an exam. Maybe when you were in school, you weren't that bright, or you weren't serious, or maybe you're dyslexic, whatever, and you weren't able to sort of do well academically. And all of a sudden, you're in your 40s and your 50s, and you decide to go back to school, and you've made one MVQ. Now, people that are really, you know, academic will say, well, what's that, one MVQ? Forget them. That's, you know, you've achieved that. Remember, you didn't.
Achievement for you.
Absolutely. You know, it's all about when some people try to control you rather than empowering you. You know, they try to sort of make you feel threatened. You know, they're jealous of your successes, so they try to manipulate you, especially if they feel that you're someone that's vulnerable, or that you already, you know, have shown that you have issues with self-esteem. You've got to keep yourself around people that will just empower you to be better than who you are today, in whatever that might mean to you. It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be, you know, something, you know, out there. It could just be something that's personal to you, but make sure you have people that will empower you to move forward. It's really important to me, this, Ebony. When I talk to women, some women don't have, you know, this big, massive dream that I want to go and change the world. You know, when you're 22 and you're a Miss World, and I ask you, okay, so what? Give us 3 reasons. What, if you were to win the crown, what would you do? Oh, I would do world peace, and I would do that. Not everyone has those visions, you know.
Some of us just need to survive on a daily basis and get through to the next day, and that's enough. That's
absolutely,
enough.
Absolutely. You know. Absolutely, and it's important not to be indecisive. Okay. You know, that's another thing. You know, we all kind of every now and again, oh, shall I do it this way? And you start asking, looking for approval. You phone 10,000 girlfriends, phone your mom, your dad. You know, and they always say, "Don't do it."
I know. So I ask.
Why ask? You know, what I do is I just do what I'm going to do anyway, and then I tell you afterwards. You know, and if it doesn't succeed, I don't tell no one. You know, you just move on to the next one.
I get that. I totally get that. I had that with Opie. We talked yesterday, and you know, about realizing your dreams, and exactly the conversation Opie and I had was about how people can destroy that. You know, they can, with one word, they can kill a dream. And so you need to stop trying to look for validation for your dreams. You've got your dream. Stay focused, stay in your own business, and go there. Just do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. I can't emphasize that enough, but we're running out of time, Zina. You can be surprised how quick 30 minutes goes.
I know, and I'm awake now.
I know you're awake now, I know. But these mornings are really, you know, I started off thinking we'll give an hour, but I think an hour is a lot of time for people sometimes to concentrate and to fit in all the learning in one morning, or, you know, to have the time to get into a long podcast. But, you know, I do long podcasts in the evening when I'm talking about relationships. People need all day for that. But I think this is a nice blast of energy to start your morning off. And I hope those people who are going to listen today are going to, you know, feel like, right, I have a word. I have a word to keep me going on my journey to whatever it is I want to do. And if I want to create success in my life, I have some tools to help me to navigate my way there. So that's what we aim to achieve today. And I think we've achieved it, Zina. Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much, Ebony. It's always lovely, you know, interacting with you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, and you're coming back, right? So we're gonna.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yes, I'm back. Okay.
So
I'd love to come back. I'd love to come back. You know, this is great. You know, empowering people and empowering yourself at the same time. Because some of these things that you say to people, you know, you're talking to yourself as well. I need people to realize. Don't think that people, you know, your coach, your mentor, you know, they get it right, or your mom, your dad, or your boss. No, that sometimes when they're telling you off, they're telling themselves off, or if they're encouraging you or empowering you, they're empowering themselves as well. Yeah, so this has been fantastic for me.
Yes, and I started this really to empower myself. Totally selfish, 100% selfish. And I own it. I totally own it. You know, so after winning the award, my thought was, what can I give back? But also, you know, what can people learn about business? It's a business award, okay? And when you have a business award, that means that you should understand business, okay? And I am not any expert in business, all right? So I just thought, let me bring some experts in. Let me bring some people in who know their stuff and get them to share that with people out there. And they can learn and I can learn too. So I've been learning this week. Tomorrow I've got Julian Hall with me.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Julian Hall, he's a great speaker, motivator, coach, business person, successful entrepreneur, and I can't wait to hear about his business tomorrow morning. So we're on tomorrow morning at 6:30. Well, if we're a little bit late, maybe because of the technology, but we're getting there, we're getting there. And I so thank everybody who listens to these broadcasts. You know, they're for you, they're for you. Send me a comment if you have any to www.ebonyempresstv.com. Zina, tell people where they can find you.
Right, if you want to look for me, just go quickly to www.believeandliveagain.com. Repeat, www.believeandliveagain.com, and you'll be glad you did.
Okay.
Take care, and thanks for listening.
No problem. So believeandliveagain.com is where Zina is, and she's a coach, of course, amongst her many talents. I have listed them on the show page. Check her out. She is available to coach women and men. Are you just coaching women or men too?
No, I do coach men as well in terms of career and business. Yes, I do.
All right. So a great coach to connect with, and as you can hear, as you've heard this morning, she has so much to share with you, so much learning. I'm learning too. All right, we're out of here. We're out of here. Have a wonderful day, everyone. To you, Zina, my good friend.
And you too.
Take care and see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Top of the morning.